What does life mean? What will give me a sense of meaning? What is it that excites me? What is it that I'm drawn towards? What I call your primal inclinations. Are you unhappy? Are you frustrated? Are you hitting kind of rock bottom? By doing things, the brain learns. But if you never do anything, you're never going to learn. The human being has emptiness, has a hole inside of ourselves, a hole that we need to fill. You have to be careful because time passes really quickly. Those years in your 20s, they go by faster than you think. You're afraid of failure. To know who you are, to know what you were meant to do in life, why you were born, what makes you unique, requires a lot of reflection on yourself, self-awareness, self-knowledge. You have to go inward. And when your attention is always focused so much on what other people are doing, what other people are saying, what they think is hot, what they think is cool, you become kind of a stranger to yourself, right? So when I talk about that concept to them, it's like, it sounds interesting, Robert, but I have no idea what that is. I don't know what my life's task is. And I'm very empathetic to it because I was actually someone who was quite lost in my 20s. And I know the pain that can cause. Not feeling like your life has any meaning. I think that's something that really is tormenting a lot of young people. What does life mean? What will give me a sense of meaning, right? To what I'm doing, to where I'm headed, to my daily experiences. And not having that is deeply disturbing. And I've been through that myself. You have to get out of this way of thinking that so many people have, which everything has to be simple and linear, and I'm headed in this direction, there's got to be a solution, like I'm hacking my way to the truth. Life doesn't work that way. Life is very complex. So I can't give you a single track answer to finding your life purpose, you as an individual, but I can give you kind of clues. I can kind of direct you towards certain paths that have worked for me and that have worked for hundreds of thousands of other people who've become masters or very successful in their field. And the first thing is you have to go inward. So you have to resist the pull that our culture gives you. You have to also really want this. That's probably what it really comes down to. Are you unhappy? Are you frustrated? Are you hitting kind of rock bottom? Is this a turning point in your life where you realize if I keep going this way in 5 years, it's going to be really serious? Okay, it has to be important to you, and you have to have a sense of urgency. And with that sense of urgency, you have to make some decisions. And one of the decisions that's absolutely essential is to pay less attention to what other people are doing, to pay less attention to what other people are saying, to pay less attention to what people are telling you should be doing, and to go inward and think about yourself and think about what you love and what your interests are that have nothing to do with what people are doing on social media, the things that grab you, that excite you deeply inside in a way that's almost irresistible. That's like one of these things that hits you in the gut. Well, the people out there, you have that. There's something like that. You had it when you were a child. You had it when you were 2, 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, and you've lost it because you're listening too much to other people. So it's kind of like archaeology would be the metaphor. You have to dig and dig and dig and find those bones and those relics and those artifacts from your past, the things that really excite you, as well as the things that you hate. Each of those stories, there's a lesson for people, right? And that's what I compiled in Mastery. But it all begins from a sense of urgency. I can't go on this way. I have to find something that I love. When you're 20 or 21, maybe you don't feel that urgency because you're so young. You look good, you have lots of energy, the world's kind of open to you. But you have to be careful because time passes really quickly. Those years in your 20s, they go by faster than you think. And if you're turned 30 and you never thought about this and you're kind of been wandering around trying things, it starts to get a little difficult, much harder for you. So it's better if you have that sense of urgency when you're 21 or 22. And the other thing I would say is you don't learn anything if you're not excited by it. So you have to have a sense of fun and adventure about this. So discovering what your life's task can't be this dreary, boring thing that Robert's advocating you do, where I have to spend time with myself, I have to look, do a journal, blah, blah, blah. No, it's fun. It's an adventure. trying different things that fit into this general shape of what you were destined for, it's a blast. When I was in my 20s, I had more fun than anybody. I had an amazing time. It was the best years of my life. I was trying all sorts of different things. I was exploring, I was traveling, I had adventures. So I don't want your life to be boring. I want you to learn. I want you to have adventures, but you have to have a sense of direction, a sense of purpose to guide that kind of those different adventures that you go on. But what happens with a lot of people, I also get correspondence from, or let's say turning 40 or even a little bit older, and they're coming to those crossroads, is it's even much more painful than when you're in your 20s, because there's a sense of regret. There's a sense that you've wasted your time. And to get back to a path that will suit you can be very difficult, as you mentioned. But there's also another side to that, which is you probably have been learning some skills in your life. You probably have had some experiences that have changed you. Because when you're 21, 22, you don't know the world. You don't know people. You think you know everything, but you don't know anything, right? You've never had any experiences in life. You never had to suffer. Maybe you have, but not really suffering like you do when you get older. Okay. So you're 40, you've had tough experiences. You've been hardened. You've got, you're not so fragile, and you've learned things. If you change your mindset at that age and you go, I'm going to take what I have, my experiences, my skills, what I've learned, and I'm going to redirect it towards something more exciting for me, then it will work for you, right? But as you say, it can be harder because you're more set in your ways. The pain that you feel when you get older, and we humans have very active minds. We're gifted with the most powerful organ in the entire universe, the human brain. The billions of possible connections in our brain is greater than anything in the entire universe. It is the most amazing instrument, and our brains are very active. And when you get older and you don't have anything to put your brain onto, and things are slowing down, you don't realize that that's what's making you depressed. You don't realize that the fact that you haven't been able to fulfill what you were meant to fulfill is actually the source of your misery and unhappiness. You will blame it on other people. You will blame it on the world. You will blame it on politics. You won't look at yourself and realize that it comes from you. And the sadness comes from you and the fact that you're not maximizing, you're not exploiting this gift that you were given. I want you to do the following. I want you to carve out 2 hours or as much as you can at night where you start exploring this field on the internet, and you start considering maybe going to night school, okay, and taking classes that will change this course. And then I want you to think of 5 years where you're going to be, a goal, 5 years ahead. But there is an answer. There is a place to go. And so it changes it when you have some sense of direction. I talk in Mastery about a concept called learning by doing. By doing things, the brain learns. But if you never do anything, you're never going to learn. So if you suddenly said, I've been thinking about a podcast, I would say, get off your ass and start the podcast tomorrow. And it fails. You have learned so many things. You've learned more in those 3 months of failure than you have been 2 years thinking or 5 years of getting an MBA from some school and putting yourself in massive debt. Learn by doing, learn by failing.
Like, why do we love to plan?
Because you're afraid of failure. Because if you're successful, you now have responsibility. You now have a reputation. You now have succeeded, and your next venture could fail, right? There's pressure that comes with trying something and putting your name out there. And if I don't ever try anything, if I don't bother, if I blame the world, I blame my parents, I blame my education system, I blame my partner, this, that, and the other, then you never have to worry. You never have to have that responsibility. You never have to have that fear of success. And that holds people back. So it's easier to not do anything and stay in your little bubble and go, God, if only I had money, I would have written this great novel. I would have, done this, or that, or the other. It's just crap. You're trying to delude yourself, and you're afraid of actually putting your neck out on the line. That's what it comes down to. It's a common syndrome among adolescents. So unlike animals, We are not programmed. Now, animals aren't completely programmed, that's a myth, but they're much more programmed than we are by their instincts. So a leopard doesn't wake up in the morning and go, what am I going to do today? Am I going to hunt this animal or that animal? No, I think it's kind of cloudy. No, they don't. They don't have that choice. We do. And that's what makes us aimless. That's what makes us wake up in the morning and go, man, what am I going to do? So what that means, what that translates into is the human being has emptiness, has a hole inside of ourselves, a hole that we need to fill in some way because we have incredibly active minds. The brain, if you break it down, it's absolutely astounding. The powers that it has, the amount of neural pathways that connect, the complexity of it, and the activeness of it. I meditate every morning, and as I try and still my mind, whoa, thoughts are coming like this. You can't believe how active your mind is. You're just not aware of it. But we have this emptiness. We don't know what to fill it with. This mind is active. We're not programmed. We don't know what to do. And because of that emptiness, we have to fill it with something. We're restless. And if we don't know what to fill it with, we're just going to consume as a way to kind of deal with that empty feeling, as you say, to numb ourselves. We're going to eat. We're going to watch movies. We're going to binge watch. We're going to get addicted to, because it's filling that emptiness. It's taking that active mind and it's numbing it. And it's like, it seems satisfying because we don't have to deal with these other things. So you have to be aware that you have this emptiness inside of you. Everybody does. I have it. Everyone does. And I want you to have this privilege that I have. I'm not saying that I feel so great. I want you to have it. I have this feeling. I wake up in the morning. I know what I have to accomplish. I know what my goals are. I know what I have to do that particular day. I know what I have to do that particular week. These are the things that I can do to fill that emptiness, to program, to give myself a purpose, to have that North Star that you're talking about. So be aware that your mind is so active that you have to have something to fill it. But it's your choice whether you're just going to consume mindless stuff or you're going to actually use that restless, active brain of yours and put it to some incredible function. So I have a chapter 1 in Mastery called Discover Your Life's Task. And it's not easy, and I don't have like a formula for it. But I kind of lay out the process that could lead you to it. If you're 22 or younger, then it's pretty clear what you have to do, and it's not so difficult. If you're 29, 30, it gets more complicated. If you're 40, it's very difficult. If you're 50, it's almost impossible. So the younger you go through this process, the better. And what it entails is figuring out what makes you unique in life. And I don't mean like total weirdness unique. I don't mean that you have to be like some flamboyant rock star, et cetera, et cetera. It can be what makes you unique as an entrepreneur, as a business person, what makes you unique as a social individual, as somebody who likes to interact with people, what makes you unique in any endeavor, right? Going into looking at your childhood and being honest with yourself and saying, I'm interested in this thing now that I'm 22, but it's not really me. It's what my parents want me to be interested in. It's not really me because it's what other peers think is cool right now. It's not really me because of blah, 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 blah. What is really me? Okay? So you got to peel away these layers and you got to come at. So when you were born, I liken to it, a seed is planted. That seed is your uniqueness because A, your DNA has never existed in the history of the universe and never will exist again. Okay? It's impossible. It's so unique. B, your parents are not like any other parents, and they're going to raise you in a way that's different from any other parenting couple in the history. C, you're going to have early experiences that are not like anybody else. That is unique. That is you. And it's real. It exists. And it's not like a single thing. It's not like, oh, I was meant to be a fireman. Oh, I was meant to be a politician. It's vaguer than that. It has to do with things that attract you, whether it's sports and your body, whether it's mathematics or music, or whether it's words and literature, or whether it's social things, or whether it's building a house, carpentry, or building a business, etc. What is it that excites me? What is it that I'm drawn towards? What I call your primal inclinations. Going through that process and figuring out, digging up that seed and figuring out what it is should be the most exciting process in your life. Because if you do it, all the stuff that we're talking about, all the bad circumstances of the world, everything you're facing, you will reverse that power. You will discover your superpower. You will be motivated. You will find the energy.